What's going on, everyone? My name is Blas, 25 years old. I'm from the Bronx, New York, and this is my story. So, like a good Mexican household, we grew up Catholic, but not practicing Catholic. We would only go to church to fulfill like special occasions, the quinceañeras, Christmas mass, or every once in the blue moon we would go to mass. But we were never practicing. Growing up, I did start to see my family converting or reverting back into the faith. So in my family, it was a domino effect. My grandmother first to revert, then my aunt, my mother, and so on. And then the women in my family started bringing their husbands to church, and I was more so the last to get reverted. So for me, that transition was really tough, and in a way, I rejected it. I didn't want it. Growing up, it wasn't normal for us to pray. So just my mom asking of us to as a family to pray the rosary, read the Bible, or just pray in a circle together as a family, it was different, and I didn't like it at all. On top of that, I longed for a paternal figure. I had my stepfather, who I consider my father because he raised me since I was very young. He is a hardworking man, and he's always been that way. So growing up, like a good man that he is, he had to go to work to provide food over the plate, to provide a roof over my head. The downside is he was never present at home. I didn't see him present. So I went outside to look for a paternal figure. I would go to my uncles, or I would go to my friends, their dads, or the old heads on the block, and it wasn't the best male role model for me. Seeing it now, but at that time, in a way, I idolized them. Seeing that fraternity or another masculine figure for me it was kind of filling that void, and it really impeded me to grow as a faithful Catholic man in the church, especially with the values they were teaching me. My uncles, I grew up with them teaching me how to talk to women, how to interact, and I was kind of starting to live a double lifestyle. I would live one way at home with the women that I grew up with respect, with reverence. But then outside on the street, I was a whole different person to the women. So I didn't really understand, or I didn't acknowledge the dignity that these women would have until I started coming back into the faith little by little. Like I said before, my family reverted, and I was the last one. So my mom, seeing that in me, encouraged me to go to retreats, and it was a yearly thing. I would go to El Centro Carismático in 161, and it was a yearly thing. And it was just go through one year and leave through the other. I wouldn't keep to what it would say. In a way, I would kind of leave the retreat with this retreat high, wanting to follow the Lord, and then the Wednesday after leaving the retreat, I was back to my normal self. My mom wanted me to go deeper into the church, and she saw it. So every year it was the same thing, sending me to retreats. One day she came up to me and she was like, I think it's time for you to go to retreat again because you're starting to go out of line again." So I was used to the routine of going to retreat. So I said, "Yeah, sure, okay, I'll go." But in my mind, I was like, "Okay, I'll live this retreat. I'll get out and then start doing whatever I was doing." This retreat was different though. It happened to be with a Catholic nonprofit called Corazon Puro, and in this retreat, it was very different. And I guess it more so ties with my spirituality. I'm not really charismatic, and the retreats I would go to was charismatic, so I wouldn't really resonate to what was given. Corazon Puro was more of a formative retreat, and um, it taught me my dignity as a man, and it taught me the dignity of others, the respect. It taught me theology of the body, and it was something that I didn't know growing up per se. It was always watching old ladies in church or listening to a bunch of old people telling me advice, and for me, I wouldn't resonate to it. So seeing young people in the church, seeing young adults like going to mass, praising God or praying, it was almost motivating, or it almost attracted me a lot more than what I was used to. So when I lived my retreat, I was on fire. But I knew that I had to change my life. I knew I had to give up what I was doing, to stop living a double life, to live one way in the church and outside in the street live a different way. It was in my confession when I went to back in my reversion that the priest in confession told me that I can't serve two gods. I have to serve one, and that's what I decided to do. I decided to go all the way in with our God, and ever since then, I've been, a catechist for my local parish. I've been helping other young adults in the community, and it's just been beautiful. Um, and it motivates me to keep going to see young people because I know that we are like the future of our church. When I started getting deeper into my faith, especially getting more involved in the community of Corazon Puro, I met with the men at Corazon Puro, and they have a house called the John Paul II House of Formation for Men, and for me it was something extraordinary to see a house where men gathered to pray holy hour, to pray the liturgy of the hour, to discuss man-related topics. That for me was the fraternity I was yearning for since a little kid. So when I moved in to the JP2 house eventually, I felt at home. I felt like that that manly figures I was looking for, the brotherhood that I was looking for. I felt spoiled. I felt like God was actually, you know, giving me what I wanted. And the living in the house was difficult because there was a lot of fraternal corrections forming me how to be a better man, how to be a faithful Catholic in the secular world. It's not easy, but I have nothing but gratitude for the JP2 house, for Corazon Puro. So if you're a young adult looking for community, for a fraternity, brotherhood, or a sisterhood, come to our Corazon Puro monthly meetings. We have an affiliate here in New York and New Jersey. We have a couple international, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Philippines. We have one even in Orange County. So if you're looking for a community, a good, faithful Catholic community, join us. Join us for our monthly meetings. Join us for our virtual monthly meetings because we also live stream on Instagram. And yeah, don't feel like you don't belong in a community or that you're by yourself or you're lonely. There's, there's communities out here that were more than willing to accept you with wide open arms and give you that warm welcome that you've always been longing. So God loves you, and just know that you're here for a reason. Peace.